Hello, everyone, and welcome to Modern Mentoring. I'm your host, Lonnie Phillips. But today, I'm actually going to hand that hosting role over to my mentee, Miranda Smyre. She is going to do some reverse interviewing of me. So I'm going to hand it over to Miranda now, and she's going to introduce herself, and I'll let her take it from here. So over to you, Miranda. I'm so glad you're here.
Yes, thank you so much, Lonnie. I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for your time and just having me on the show. This is amazing. Hello, everyone. My name is Miranda Smyre. I am a senior customer success account manager at Microsoft. I've been with the company for about 2 years now, and I absolutely love Microsoft. I am in such a much better place. I feel empowered. I feel encouraged to do the things that I love to do. I have a great team and network around me, including Miss Lonnie Phillips, and I'm very happy to be there. My main responsibilities include strategic development and overall relationship of the account for our enterprise accounts in the manufacturing vertical.
I am so glad you joined the Microsoft team and we got a chance to just get to know one another. You've been an absolute delight. And Microsoft doesn't know how lucky they are to have you. So
Oh,
let's
thank
just
you,
keep it
Lonnie.
real. Let's keep it real,
Thank
okay?
you, thank you. I really appreciate that. Well, I am so incredibly excited to be here and to be in this seat interviewing the one and only Miss Lonnie Phillips. This is almost a dream come true for me. So, you guys, we have some really, really good stuff in the works. And I really just wanted to start off by really, having the audience get to know Lonnie on a deeper level. So you've had this extraordinary career, right? Leading various businesses and sales teams at Microsoft and within the corporate space. Serving on numerous boards, winning a ton of accolades, and the list really goes on and on. And I think just from a leadership perspective and an overall service perspective, you've done incredible things within the corporate landscape, and we're all very excited for you. Now that you're stepping out on your most exciting season yet with Full Circle Leadership Group and Modern Mentoring, I would love to for folks to really understand who Lonnie is. Who is
Hmm.
this woman behind the hustle, and who or what has really attributed to the women that you are today. Tell us, Lonnie, who are you?
Who am I? Well, I have to claim Braden. I'm his mother.
Yeah, that is
I'm this
number one.
of this 14-year-old incredible boy I have that I love with all my heart. So I am his mother. I am sister friend to many.
Yes,
And I
yes.
say sister friend because I have one biological sister who I love with all my heart, but I have friendships that really feel like sisters.
Hmm.
So they're my sister friends, and they really hold me down.
Hmm.
I have an incredible family that I absolutely love, and I know they all say you don't spend enough time with us. Um, but when I think about who I am and what shaped me, I think I would be remiss not to talk about my mom and my dad who are no longer with us. So I hope I don't get emotional on you. But when I think about my dad was the kind of man. So my mother died when I was 12. So my dad was married to her. So he lost his wife and best friend, and now he's raising two girls. But when I think about my dad gave me my foundation,
Hmm.
which was my faith. He was very big on us going to church and making sure that we knew who God was. We knew how to pray. My dad was really big on faith. But the other thing I loved about my dad is my dad loved his two girls, and I felt loved by my dad. And I felt cared for and provided for by my dad. So there was this love. But the third thing he taught me was really about hard work.
Hmm.
He really was someone, both of my parents were college educated, but he had the corporate career, so he had the grind. And
Hmm.
it was tough. It was tough for him. So he taught me how to push through the difficulty and pick myself up when I fall down. So I would say I'd give my dad complete um, accolades for really laying the foundation to help me really start to understand and build resilience.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think about my mother died so early in my life. My mother taught me how to love.
I
You
love.
haven't been loved until you were loved by my mother.
Wow.
She just showed me how to love. There wasn't a day, a moment, a second that went by that I didn't. But my mother also taught me about how to give selflessly to others. My mother was an elementary school teacher, third grade special needs children. And my mother's legacy was she really helped so many people. And when we laid her to rest, so many people came out to talk about the difference she made in their life. So she showed me how I wanted to live my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say those two individuals shaped who I am.
That's beautiful. And, I just wanted to add another little, personal touch in there. We share that. My mother also passed away. And
Yes.
everything that you just said, and I know we shared this before,
Yeah.
everything that you just said about your mother is the exact same thing that my mother taught me. And I really feel to this day, I'm walking in her footsteps. And
Yes.
I'm so proud of the woman that I am. So I love that story. I think it's beautiful, and you can clearly see that in the light that you shine on everyone else. So thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
that. Mhm.
Thank you. And I'm
Absolutely.
just so thrilled that you've had the same example for you. I mean, because you emulated as well.
Thank you. I try. I mean, it's not always easy to be, fill such large footsteps.
Yes.
But kind of to your point, when you have a circle of supporters around you, it gets a little easier. So I hope that your days are going by and you're able to know that your mom is very proud of you, and your sister friends are always have your back. So
Yeah.
you're in good hands.
Yes,
Yes,
I
yes, yes, yes.
am.
All right. So we have some quick rapid fire questions, Lonnie, that we just kind of want to pepper at you. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm going to ask, a very brief question, and you just tell me what comes to mind when you hear this. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the first question is, what is your favorite hobby or pastime?
Favorite hobby is I love interior decorating. I love to decorate spaces. I love to decorate spaces. I feel like I've gotten away from it,
Mhm.
but I'm looking forward to returning back to it.
Love it.
I think my house needs a refresh anyway, so I'm
Well, it
looking
is
forward
spring.
to. Yeah, I know it's time. So I'm looking forward to getting back into that because that's something that really lights me up.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I noticed that you do a lot of smiling. So I want to know what makes you smile the most.
My love language is my love language is truly spending just that quality time with another person.
Hmm.
So I would tell you, spending quality time with the people that I love, that's all I need. And I don't mean going out to dinner or doing anything fancy. It's like PJs, sitting in front of the TV, just chilling,
Hmm.
connecting, eating popcorn or whatever we want. That to me just makes my heart smile so big because I just
Yeah.
love that quality time.
Amen to that. And it's nothing like a nice glass of wine and just some TV. Okay. That's always in the works too.
Yes, 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 I would
Yes.
agree.
So what are three words that define you?
Mm. I think three words that define me is I'm empathetic,
Hmm.
I'm generous.
Hmm.
I love to be generous with my time and my resources.
Hmm.
And I would say the third word is curious.
Curious. I would say the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
curious. I like to learn new
Yeah.
things. I'm at that stage right now where I will literally go to YouTube University
And learn.
and learn and
Yeah.
then go down the rabbit trail of all the other people who are
Hmm.
teaching me things. I am having so much fun learning new things. Or I just started reading a new book and I'll tell you all about that later. And I'm just really enjoying being in the space of being curious and learning new things and
Mhm.
exploring the art of what's
Yes, I absolutely love that. And I feel like when you're in a space to do just that, you really just thrive and you just come alive, and it's just like a natural thing. It just kind of falls off you. You know what I mean? And that's
yeah,
exactly what is happening now. I see it. It's all over you. It's glowing. I can see the sparkles.
I'm a stalker.
Yes. So you mentioned that you were reading this book. Let's know that favorite book that you're reading.
Right now, I'm reading Super Communicators
Mm,
by
okay.
Charles Duhigg, and
Okay.
it's about how to unlock the secret language of connection. And I'm really loving this book because when you think about the work that we'll be talking about soon that I do, I really want to make sure that I continue to invest in my knowledge and skills around how to communicate more effectively.
Hmm.
Right? Because I do think a lot of leaders struggle in this area,
Hmm.
especially when it's time to really connect with their people or to have difficult conversations. And that even applies in our personal lives,
For sure.
right? You
Mhm.
should be able to communicate how you're feeling about a situation, work through tough places. And I think he's done a great job really speaking to the reader about how to be a super communicator so we can be
Yeah,
more effective. So I'm enjoying that.
that's good. I'm gonna have to get that one. I'll add that to my list. Thank you for sharing.
Sure, sure.
So your story around your parents and just who Lonnie is and what has really attributed to, your womanhood. How do you want to be remembered?
Mm.
How do you want to be remembered?
When I think about how I want to be remembered is I want people to say that I was loving and
Mm,
kind, more
yeah,
importantly. There's a lot of people who have had to deal with difficult stuff. So I think there's just not enough kindness in the world. So I try to
okay,
be kind.
yeah,
I want people to also say that Um, I enjoyed giving back to others. That is important to me.
mm,
I'm past the stage where I feel like I've got all of these big goals that I have to hit. Now, of course, I have some for my business, but the spirit of where I sit now is about helping others along the way.
right.
It's about giving back. That's really important to me.
Yeah, absolutely love that. We need more Lonnies in the world. We need more people that can really help the next generation or, the next people, um, after us because how else is the world going to go around, right? So I absolutely love
Yeah,
that. And I
I
think
know.
that you have such a great transparent way of 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 putting that passion into the world.
Mhm,
And it's just been very evident in, your conversations and how you speak to people, your message,
mm,
just the authenticity in it. And,
mhm,
it's easy to tell when someone is not being genuine, right?
mm,
And I just admire that about you. I just admire the passion in your heart and the lengths that you will go to make sure that the next person is successful or at least giving them some sort of gem or guidance that can help in even a small way. So we appreciate you.
oh, thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when we think about challenges and just you know dealing with everyday life, right? What's a challenge that you're facing right now? And how do you really find the perseverance to get through and show up for your community, for your family, for your friends? How are you still moving and grooving and being Lonnie? How are you doing it? It's hard.
How am I doing it? It is hard. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of a twist for you
Hmm.
because I really thought about what is the biggest challenge that I've had. And I would say it's living my life on purpose
Mm, hmm.
because we have our jobs, we have the things that we have to do
Hmm.
to make a living. And then we take whatever time we have left over. to go do the things that we love,
Mm-hmm.
right? And for me, that was my way of trying to give back was through modern mentoring at the
Mm-hmm.
time. And I did as much mentoring as I could.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, I am more committed than ever to live my life on purpose. And, when I think about just what does it take to keep going,
Mm-hmm.
right? I would tell you that I know I'm living my life on purpose now because it won't let me sleep. It's
That
that
part.
it's constantly nagging at me with
Mm-hmm.
ideas, and it's almost like a little pull, like you're headed in the right direction. And it's like that there's a bigger calling on this work that you're trying to do, and you can't give
Absolutely.
up. And no matter what I encounter, I refuse to give up because the
Absolutely.
reason why I'm doing it is for people like you. I want you to be able to accomplish your wildest dreams in half the time that it took some of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in order to do that, we've got to be willing to give back and share. And I
Absolutely.
just want to make sure that I remain in service to the call to be able to help as many people as I
I love that. That's That's amazing. And again, I think it's just that that authenticity and just being genuine in your purpose, and really understanding and just kind of even having like that light bulb moment. This is what I'm here to do. This is my calling. This is my life's work. I'm finally here. I'm grounded
can.
in that, and I'm not
Mhm,
stopping at anything to get that done and to accomplish that or to achieve that. So
mhm,
that's that's beautiful. And that actually gets me into another question that I had. So I know
mhm,
you and I, recently we've discussed just living your passion, right?
mhm,
And letting it really be your driving force and your north star, and and kind of emphasizing not waiting too long to really pursue this passion. And I know in your book, or in the book Women Mean Business, there, and thank you, by the way. I have the book here. It is amazing. Audience, please go get it. It is amazing, and you
A lot
signed
of
it.
amazing
You have
women
to
in
show
it
people. It is a great. She signed it.
too.
um, but you mentioned your five wisdoms, and you say if you don't have a plan, you become part of someone else's. This is incredibly profound.
Mm,
So I would love to know, what this notion of time means to you. What is time?
mm,
And how are you really applying it in your business? With modern mentoring and with full circle. How are you doing that? What does time mean to you?
well, I mean, for me, the most important thing is I don't take time for granted anymore.
Hmm. That part.
I'm not getting any younger, okay?
Okay.
Every day I'm getting a minute a day older. So,
You
uh,
look fabulous, Lonnie.
I do. Okay, thank you. I'm doing the best I can, girl, trying to hold up what I got. But I will tell you that for me, I'm trying to be more intentional with the time that
Hmm.
I have, right? And as long as I remain intentional with the time that I have remaining and get super clear about what is the stuff that really doesn't matter, right? And get hyper focused on the things that matter most. My family, my son, oh my God, my son needs his mama. And
Hmm.
so I want to make sure that I spend more days with him than I did early on because in my career I was moving and grooving, going all over the place. So now I have an opportunity to have a better balance when it comes to being there for my son Braden and also being able to pursue my dream to help others. I would also say that on the entrepreneur side, entrepreneurship side, it really is just being intentional about what I want to do and not get caught up in a whole bunch of noise
Hmm.
and put the energy and time into that work. And then if I can do that and then begin to help one person and then help another person, I think that's how it will just have a snowball effect and continue to grow. But for me, time is just limited. I consider it very precious. I never know when my time's going to be up. But with
Hmm.
the time I have remaining, I want to make sure that I am being intentional around spending time with the people that are important to me and also making sure that I'm giving back in service to the work that I will be doing going.
I love that. And I would 100% agree with that. I have family that are still back in DC, and I have little nieces, and I try to visit them and see them as often as I can, because to your point, we never know, and they're everything to me. So I think as an adult, especially now, I'm realizing that time is not a forever thing, and you really have to take advantage of these opportunities right now. Um, so that's very, very, very important.
Yes.
Yes. So first of all, Lonnie, I mean, I don't know if the people know who you are, but you are everything and more. Okay. And so when you talk about, just adversity in the workplace and, being a woman and a Black woman and a powerhouse, that those three things that's a triple threat. That's a whole entire triple threat. So, how would you say that these characteristics really impact effective influence kind of inside and outside of the workplace?
Well, first of all, I'm humbled by the statements. Truly humbled by the statements. So thank you. You know, recognizing that I have had this incredible opportunity to do what I've done, I think what it's done for me, Miranda, is made me more compassionate towards
Mm,
others. And what I mean about that is I think about what is it like to be an underdog? I know what it was like to be an
mhm,
underdog. I know what it's like when you are battling other people's perception of you and you're like, but that's not who I am. What is all this about?
mhm,
I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to have a dream you carry in your heart and you just wish somebody would pour into you and help open the
mhm,
door to support you when you want to go apply for that role or go after something big. You just want that support system.
yeah.
And I think everything I've gone through, it's just given me more compassion for others. And it's allowed me to just want to show up for them in some kind of way to help encourage them. If it is literally offer a blueprint, like here's a few things that work for me, here's a person maybe you need to connect with.
Mhm.
I'm just trying to make sure I do my part to be the person that I would have always been.
For sure. No, that's beautiful. And, again, I just feel like you don't really find enough of that, especially in the workplace. And me being newer to the organization at Microsoft, but even in previous companies, I didn't really have that support system. It was very hard for me to even reach out to anyone to say, "Hey, can you just mentor me?" Or "Can you just understand like where I'm coming from?" And even trust anyone. So it can be very difficult when who you are, what you want, but you just really don't know how to reach out and get that or, really find that. And so it really is a diamond in the rough when you do. And again, and
Mm,
kind of going back to your point about time, you really have to take advantage of those opportunities especially when they're right in front of you. So I think that that's very, 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 very important.
mm,
So I know you kind of talked about intentionality, right? And I think that this goes really hand in hand with also risk taking. Seeking new challenges that will kind of continue to elevate you, and you're doing just that with Bonner Mentoring and with Circle Leadership Group. How are you? I mean, what is your approach to ensuring that you continue to seek opportunities that challenge you and, that elevate your knowledge on things and, you're able to kind of give new advice and gems to people?
yeah. Well, let me go ahead right here and share because we've kind of alluded to it, but let me kind of share with people what I'm doing so they kind of know it, and then we'll parlay that into your response. But, you know, I really have been spending a great deal of time trying to figure out where can I make a difference in the world going forward. And an area that I excelled at was leading teams. And I felt like that was something that came natural for me on one front, but I invested a lot
Hmm.
as well. because it was something I was passionate about, and I always wanted to know the new thing that was out there, new strategy that was out there. And I was always looking to try different things myself. And so, what I enjoyed giving back in, especially were to new leaders or aspiring leaders. And so, I really decided I had started writing about it, and I had written a book called Full Circle Leadership. And I said, what am I really trying to do with this work? And when it came down to the time for me to decide what I wanted to do next, I realized that I really want to help cultivate modern leaders. And I want to do that globally.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that? For me, full circle, when you think about a timeless symbol like a circle always represented wholeness and connectedness. So for me, when I think about full circle leadership, it's really around bringing that head and that heart, uniting them together,
Mm.
but really staying focused on keeping people at the center. But I also believe that you can take care of the people and still drive outstanding results. And so with full circle leadership, I actually have a model that I've developed that will be rolling out. And there's 6 major parts to the model. The first part is around self-awareness, because as leaders, we got to know who we are, but we also have to seek feedback from others to understand how we're being perceived by others,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can figure out the delta and work on all that stuff in between. Then the second area that I have is really around vision. And that's an area, when I think about a modern leader, we have a lot of CEOs creating visions, but business leaders still need to have a vision for their team and how it connects with the larger vision.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually have pillars that really help leaders figure out that whole vision work. The third area is really around connection,
Mm-hmm.
connecting with your people, and how to do that effectively, how to really get to know your people so you can get the most out of them and support them to help really nurture them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth area is around role modeling, because as leaders, we don't just tell people what to do, we need to be role modeling what we expect from others.
Mm-hmm.
The other area, the fifth area, is around accountability, because we all have businesses we have to run. We have shareholders that we're held accountable to, and we have to deliver results. And we need to do that with and through people. But there's a way to do that that gets people excited about it
Mm-hmm.
versus feeling so beat down to get after the goals. And
Mm-hmm.
last but not least, it's around teaching leaders how to cultivate talent, because that's an area that I feel like people miss.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important that you do the full circle.
Yeah.
You can't just stop. You got to keep going if you
Mm-hmm.
really want to nurture a healthy, high performing team. And so I'm committed to really developing content and delivering real training to help cultivate the modern leader going forward.
She said it best. That was beautiful. I mean, and you know, when I think of the corporate space, the corporate landscape,
Yeah.
you know, why should we really be putting what you just mentioned at the forefront of these organizations? Why is that so important? You know, when we think about kind of
Mm.
performance and workplace culture and things like that, why is that one of the leading areas that we should be putting that at the forefront?
I think it's important that we really think about what type of leaders we're putting in front now, is
Mm-hmm.
because I would say, let me just go ahead and acknowledge there's some great leaders out there, and we want them to continue to lead and make a difference. But we have more people that are coming up through the ranks that were successful as individual contributors, but they have not been trained properly to lead teams.
Mm-hmm.
They may be great at a specific function, they may be great operationally, but when it comes to people, they don't understand how to communicate with them. They don't understand how to inspire or motivate them. Matter of fact, they weaponize everything and really make the people feel beat down. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that I continue to hear, and all you have to do is do some light social listening, it's in every corner. They're constantly worried about We've got people who don't trust their leaders anymore.
Yeah.
They're not having real conversations about what the strengths are, what the areas are for development. Some people aren't in the right roles. Some people
Mhm.
just don't feel support. There's just a lack of trust. And
Mhm.
I think we need to get back to training leaders how to lead people. And that we refer to it as soft skills, but these are human skills. And I
Mhm.
think they're going to become more and more important as you think about some of that more, what they refer to as the hard skills, the functional skills, how to do the specific jobs, with that being taken over by technology more and more. The human skills are going to be so important. But
Mhm.
it takes both to be successful as a leader. But the area that we haven't invested enough in, there's been a lot of talk but not enough action. And I think it's because people understand what to do, but they don't
Mhm.
understand how to do it. And that's where I want to stand in the gap to help people understand how to do it. But if we do not fix this leadership problem we have, we're going to have high turnover. We're
Mhm.
going to see companies are going to lose talent because people are going to be in the hospital ill because they're all
Mhm.
stressed out for
Mhm.
different things. You just never know the mounting healthcare costs that will be associated with that.
People who seek to become leaders, they underestimate what it really takes. I think they look at the shiny object and they're saying, "Oh, I want to be a leader," and I want to manage a team. But do you really know what goes into that? And I think that goes back to your point about you, one, haven't had enough experience. You don't know what it takes. You really haven't been trained. You think you know, but you actually have no idea. you know. Well,
Well,
they
I mean,
need to go. They need to go to one of your classes, Lonnie. Okay.
yeah, I mean, I think we all are guilty of thinking we could do something, and then when we get in there and go, "Oh, this is a little harder than I thought," you know?
Exactly.
That's the way I
Mhm.
felt about entrepreneurship. I'm like, I run many businesses, and then I got in here and said, "Whoa, what is this all
Right.
about?
What did I get myself into?
What
But
did I
but
get
I know it's
myself
so
into?"
rewarding, right? It's so rewarding.
Very rewarding.
Yes.
Very rewarding, but I think the first step is to be able to admit what we don't know.
Mhm.
And then we got to go seek help from the people who do know that can coach you on the journey. And I think for those that feel like they can be great leaders, great. Let's just make sure we support you with the right foundation. So when you jump into it, you can just have fewer mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes. We just
Right.
want to minimize some of the mistakes that you have to make early on.
Absolutely. No, that's great. And I'm glad that you put that out there because I think people really need to understand that and know it's okay to be an individual contributor. Work your way up to that next step. It's not going anywhere. I mean, I know we talked about the notion of time, but I think it's best to, know what you're getting into before you step there and really just kind of fall on your face. So I
Mhm.
think that's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's a really good perspective.
Yeah.
All right. Well, another question that I had is, I know some of my mentors within Microsoft and also with you. We always talk about building your board of directors, right? This group of
Mhm.
supporters that are going to help you along your journey. And I know that's kind of what your mission is with Full Circle. How would you say is the best way to kind of build your board of directors? Kind of personally and even professionally.
I would treat both of them the same, to be honest. I would say I would put them in three categories, and I'm sure there's probably easily a way to add a fourth. But I would say you want to make sure you have people on your board of directors that really believe in you. The second thing is you want people on your board of directors that have experience that you can learn from,
Mhm.
right? Because we all have gaps in our experience level, and we need to be surrounded by people who can help support us in those gaps.
Mhm.
And you want to be able to come to them, you trust them, and you know they're going to give you the truth, unvarnished truth, and they will support you with resources because they are invested in you.
Mhm.
Okay. And
Mhm.
you also want somebody who's going to be transparent. There are a lot of people who will offer only a certain perspective, but they're holding back. You want people on your board of directors that will share generously.
Mhm.
And the third category I would put someone on my board of directors is somebody who loves me enough to tell me the truth. I need to be told what my strengths are. I need to be told what my areas for development are. I need to know when I have blind spots.
Mhm.
You need people like that on your board of directors as
And people that will just challenge you, you know
well.
what I mean?
Challenge you.
Give you
Yes.
a different perspective on, not just be a yes person. Give you a
Yeah. You
different
don't want that.
perspective that can, just supplement yours. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You might
Hmm.
not have thought about something from a certain perspective or a certain angle, and it's good to have
Hmm.
people that are going to be able to say, I don't agree with this. Maybe we should think about it
Hmm.
this way. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I think that that's one of the things that I do, appreciate about our relationship, right? And even just the work that I'm doing at Microsoft, even, I think they, I think that Microsoft appreciates people who are going to, kind of challenge the status quo. And I think that there's nothing wrong with some challenging and healthy challenges, right? Um, so I think that, we all should definitely have the courage to speak up and kind of speak our mind to a certain extent, and just give it a different opinion where we can.
I love that. Don't
So
ever change that.
yes, thank you. um, so when we talk about, building these corporate brands and having our board of directors, can you maybe share your 3 to 4 areas that a person can really leverage when it comes to, defining that purpose?
Mm. Well, I think when you're trying to figure out your purpose in life, I think it's so important to understand your values and belief system.
Hmm.
Because everything is anchored on that, believe it or not. My values and my belief systems. I would also say you've got to get clear on what your strengths are and where your passions lie.
Hmm.
And someone said this to me, and I would offer this to someone. What's that one thing that nags you, that keeps you up, that you seem to care about, and maybe others don't care about it as much? Your passion and purpose is probably stuck somewhere in there.
Hmm.
You can acknowledge maybe what the problem is today, but where do you want to take it? How do you want to transform it?
Hmm.
And how can you take all of this you have and throw it at it to help change the outcome? And I think you will find as you do that work, your purpose is somewhere up in there. It took me a long time to refer to this as my purpose, but it's funny how after I finally landed there, so many people say, "Oh, this been your purpose." It's like other people saw it before I saw it.
You can see it, and it goes back to what I said earlier. I mean, it's almost written all over your face. It's genuineness that just comes out. When I first met you, Lonnie, I mean, you don't even have to go all the way there. But when I first, I could just see it, and that's why I knew, like, okay, I really want to get to know this woman.
Wow.
Genuinely, I do, because I could see that I saw a lot of even myself in you, and I wanted to understand and learn more about what that was, so then that way I could even learn more about myself, that maybe I hadn't thought of. So I
Okay.
absolutely love that perspective. I think that that's very, very important.
Yeah. Other people, and so ask your friends too
Mhm.
what they see in you, because I think when I finally admitted, they were like, "What took you so long?"
Yeah.
I almost started a different type of business because
Interesting.
I thought it may have been more profitable sooner.
Hmm.
And then I was like, "But I know I'm not supposed to do
It came back to you, that why, right? I think the why probably it was just
that."
inching
Anchor
its
on the
way
why.
all over you. Yep. That's awesome. No, that's great. And again, I'm just so happy that you're really living in your purpose and your passion. And I really just hope that, other women who see this can really know that, they can do this too. We're not alone. We're all kind of struggling in our own way out there, some way, somehow. And we're all trying to figure it out. And as long as we can come together and we can have these types of sessions and these types of conversations, um, we got each other. It's really just a matter of reaching out and saying, hey, I would love to talk to you about this. I would love to get some clarity on this. I would love to just, get your perspective. How can I bring that into my world and help me, have my light bulb moment? So I think that that's very important.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, so I know, kind of going back to the book, um, women mean business. There was another wisdom in your book, and it said, "Be a game changer." And I thought that was also very profound. And I wanted, to kind of get your perspective on what it really means to be an innovator, and always making sure that you're driving new, exciting ideas and ways of working, ways of thinking, and how should leaders be thinking about that, just and really just have the courage to drive this change.
I was thinking about an example. When you're first made a leader or named the leader of a team, usually you understand who are the people going to be reporting to you. They tell you what you're going to be responsible. Here are your goals that you have
Mhm.
to go accomplish. And most of the time, that first year, you're going in and you're just trying to figure out what the last leader did, and you're trying not to mess anything up and connect with the team and accomplish the goals.
Mhm.
And to me, that's just effective leadership. You're just going in, trying to hit the goals that have been put right there in front of you. But to be a game changer, you got to go look for the thing that's broken. Go look for the thing that's missing. Go
Mhm.
look for the thing nobody wants to talk about.
Mhm.
That they just need to get some great minds together to figure out a solution and have the courage to go try something. That is the difference. It's knowing that you've got the courage to, one, identify where the problems exist that you feel like you can help with.
Mhm.
Go bring together the right minds to help you solve it, because you can't think that you've got all the answers inside you. It takes a village. So
Right.
invite other people into the conversation to help you solve it.
Mhm.
Help figure out what that solution looks like to get it implemented, and then go roll it out and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, be willing to go back and try again
Mhm.
and go at it again. That's game changers. Game changers are people who don't settle for how things are. They always try to make things better.
Mhm.
Sometimes it could be creating a new product. Sometimes it could be coming up with a new process to make things more efficient. Whatever it is,
Mhm.
just take that, go find that thing that nobody wants to deal with. If you
Mhm.
feel like you've got strengths in that area and you know people who can help you solve it, get after it,
Mhm.
because we need more game changers. There's a lot of people just what I call just status quo.
Mhm. Yeah.
I want people who are willing to have the courage to speak up and say, that's not quite right. We can make that better. And then put the energy in it to help make it.
Exactly. And be fearless and confident, knowing that you can make a difference. And I think
You
that
can.
that's definitely something that I think women sometimes we kind of hide behind that at times.
Yeah.
Um, and again, people who are watching this, I hope that these just the conversation gives them. I just hope that this conversation really resonates with them and helps women know that they can do this. Whatever
Mhm.
that dream is, whatever that job is, whatever that thing is, that they want to do, go ahead and do it. I
Mhm.
mean, and if it even if it means that you quote unquote fail it, it was a lesson. It was a
There
lesson.
are no failures. There are
Yeah,
no
right.
failures. They're just lessons. And if
Just
you
lessons.
change your narrative around
Yeah.
perceived failures,
Mhm.
if you do the work to study what didn't go well,
Mhm.
and then say, you know what, I'm going to try it a little bit different next time, it's a
Right.
wonderful opportunity to learn and
Yes.
to take those learnings with you. And to me, learnings are nothing but wisdom over time.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I agree with you. I hope my life is an example to so many people that if you dream it, you can make it a reality. I
Yeah.
think the thing that gets in the way, and it got in the way for me,
Mhm.
is the limiting beliefs. Because you can be in these environments and you get conditioned.
Mhm.
You can get conditioned to believe, well, this is what I'm supposed to go do. Maybe this is all I'm going to go do.
Right.
And
Right.
then you make a good living at it and you say, well, I'm not trying to disrupt this. I
Right.
want to keep doing what I've always done. And I'm saying to everyone that is listening to the sound of my voice that you need to bet on you. And I am never, ever, ever again going to coach someone to settle. And if I see it in them, I'm going to challenge them
Mm-hmm.
because I think we have to do a better job of calling people to their higher selves. To
Yes.
say, I see more in you. I've heard you talk about more and you want more. What's getting in your way? And
Mm-hmm.
what lies are you telling yourself? Because
Mm-hmm.
those are lies and those are limiting beliefs. And we all can do hard things, but we have to commit ourselves to what we want
Mm-hmm.
and stop believing what people tell us. And that is something that I hope I continue to share in my message as I continue to engage with more people. But I hope my life is an example of that going
I truly believe that it will be. And I think that there is a good point in that. Really, and we kind of touched on this earlier, looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I can do hard things, right? And I'm going to do this hard thing and I'm going to overcome this hard thing and I'm going to come out on top and just really affirming to yourself that you know that you can do this. And guess what? When you have those positive thoughts and you have that positive way of thinking, you usually achieve greater outcomes that you could even desire, and
forward. That is so true. And you know what's so funny? Because remember, we were talking about this. Another vulnerable moment. Remember now, just last week, I told you I had my own little pity party.
yeah. Hmm.
I was like, what am I doing? I need to just go back to corporate America. This is a lot of work and blah, blah, blah. And I was just blocked
Hmm.
creatively. Creatively, I was just blocked.
Hmm.
And I remember saying, are you kidding me? There's no option to fail here. You can do hard things. This is a conversation I'm having myself in the mirror.
Right.
I was like, you better get over this pity party because
Yep.
failure is not an option, young lady.
Hmm.
And I remember waking up that next day and all that blocking had disappeared and I had all
Hmm.
these ideas that came. And I was so grateful. I
Yes.
was just in that moment. And we're all going to have moments where we're stuck, but
Hmm.
we just can't allow ourselves to stay there. And
Hmm.
sometimes we have friends that'll do it for us, our partners will do it for us, but
Hmm.
sometimes we just got to have that hard conversation with ourselves.
Yes. 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 I know I do every single day. And I'm like, girl, what are you doing today? Okay.
We sometimes have to
So,
do that. We
yeah.
have to talk back to ourselves
Yeah.
because we get lost in our heads.
We do. And it's inevitable. As women, we
It's
always
gonna
try to
happen.
be so correct about everything. We want to be perfect. But sometimes, I think women, I think that we need to sometimes take off our superwoman capes and just say, listen, I need to rest right now and take off this cape because I know I just can't do everything. And I know I'm trying to do that myself as a very independent woman. But it just that thought resonated with me, and I hope women understand that yes, we I know we want to do it all, but sometimes that's not always the case.
You don't have to do it
You don't
all.
have to
See,
exactly,
see, I could be capable, but why would I go and wear myself out like that if I didn't have to?
exactly. Really, it's a real thing. So I just, I try to also tell my girlfriends the same thing. Like, it's okay. You can take the cape off. We're here for you. You can rest. You can say, oh, you know what? I just don't have it in me today, and just take a break. And it's okay. It's going to be there tomorrow. You can kind of figure it out. It's going to be okay. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think that's pretty sound advice. And I again, I just hope that women understand that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, Miss Lonnie, I actually have a little bonus question for you. Okay, so
Okay.
I I know that you love you a good pair of eyeglasses, and every time I see you, you always have the most fabulous glasses on. Oh my goodness! So what I need to know is, well, one, your glasses game is always on point,
Thank
and
you.
how many pairs do you actually own? I think the people
Oh,
need to
girl.
know this.
I'm never gonna answer. I'm never gonna answer that question.
Okay,
I have way too many.
I knew
But
it.
let me just admit now, my glasses are readers, and that's
Okay.
it. I actually had my vision corrected a little less than 6 or 7 years ago. Actually, maybe
Okay.
been a little longer than that. And so I only need them for reading.
Okay.
And so I use them when I'm on computers, and whenever I'm trying to read small print. please, I better have a pair close by because I'm gonna be squinting or trying to borrow somebody else's.
Right. You and me
Um,
both.
but so when it comes to glasses, because I ended up having my eyes corrected and he couldn't fix that, I said, I'm just going to have to go find some fun glasses. So I can
Mhm,
find some very inexpensive pair.
mhm,
But it was important to me that I didn't get the real small ones because I
mhm.
didn't want to look like an old lady. Because I used to think about like your grandparents, your
Yeah.
aunts, your uncles. They always had a little small glasses.
Mhm,
I didn't want to look like them. I wanted to be more modern. So I tend to
mhm.
go for a wider frame.
They look fantastic. I mean, you got all types of colors, all types of
I try to
shapes.
match my outfits with them.
Oh, I know. I've seen you, and I'm like, okay. I never, you know what? I never said anything about the glasses, but I that was something that I peeped, and I just had to know, how
I
you pulled it
appreciate
off.
you noticing my
Mhm.
fun way of expressing myself. I treat them
Yes.
like accessories. And
Mhm.
my girlfriend said to me one day, she says, you should be a spokesperson for glasses. And I said, if somebody wants to sign me up, I'll wear their glasses.
There you go.
I don't bought enough pair of them.
I love it. I absolutely love it. They look fantastic on you, and I think that you did a
Thank
really
you.
great job of how they kind of, frame your face and the different colors and the different prints and
Thank
things like that.
you.
They look really, really good. They look really
Thank
great.
you. I
Mhm.
appreciate it.
Well, Miss Lonnie Phillips, this has been such an amazing, amazing discussion. I just wanted to say thank you again for having me on your platform. This was incredible. I hope that I know that your message will resonate, with your audience. Your heart is beautiful. I love the work that you're doing, and I know that your followers are going to love it as well. Thank you so much for having me. This has been an incredible, incredible time.
Thank you. I'm just so tickled that we had an opportunity to let people see us have a conversation because, we always have fun when we talk, and you
Yes.
always come so prepared with your agenda. And then we're only going to talk for this amount of time, and then we'll end up extending it because we
It'll be
always
2.5
inevitably
hour
go over.
conversation. I'm like,
We
but it's
always go
okay.
over, don't we? Yeah, but I'm glad they had an opportunity to get a front row seat to something I get to witness all the time, and that's your brilliance. So
Thank
I
you.
just want you to continue to let that beautiful light shine. And thank you for asking me such thought provoking questions. And to your point, I really hope that between the two of us, that we said something that resonates with people.
Mhm,
This platform was really about sharing wisdom with as many people as possible to help them be able to thrive in
mhm,
corporate spaces and in life.
mhm,
And I want to continue with that mission. I did have two interviews where I allowed two mentees to interview me. Now it's time for me to get back to the traditional way that I normally do it. But I want to let everyone know modern mentoring is going to return in the form of a podcast. And so,
mhm,
more to come on that. I wanted to make sure that I gave people something to snack on while
mhm.
we're working on getting the formal podcast rolled out. But I just have to thank you for being a beautiful host and interviewer today. I appreciate you. So, thank you for coming on. And I want to thank everyone that took the time to tune in today to listen to us. And again, I really hope through my life story that I spoke to someone and you wake up today or tomorrow and you say, you know what? I've been dreaming about this thing and I'm ready to put some action behind it as well. I think we all need to recognize that the time we have here is precious. Let's make sure that with the time we have left, that we're doing something meaningful. At least let it be meaningful to you. I'm trying to have it be meaningful to me and meaningful to many others. But whatever that is for you, let's get about the business of doing that thing we feel called to do. So, with that, I'm going to thank everyone again. I want to thank you for tuning in, and until next time. So, take care, everyone. Thanks for joining Modern Mentoring.